All right, so here's my topic selection and literature review. I ended up with, in the middle of week 2, I think, changing my research question and kind of taking a different direction just because I didn't have enough data. But I did end up choosing Chico Rocks, Florida, and I did the CO2 and pH levels. Like I said here, it did take a bit to find a clear and specific topic as there was so much data around CO2 and pH levels pretty much anywhere when it comes to the ocean. I did read at least 10 different articles and data collections to figure out what would give me the best bet in the end. And I did find specific data around the CO2 and pH levels in Chico Rock, Florida that had a lot of data. Even though some of my work seemed like it didn't have a lot of data, there was so much, so I did have to narrow it down. So here's kind of the summary of my data. We have the location I just screenshot from each worksheet each week, but we have the location as high, mid, and low altitude, water temperature, and CO2 levels, which is kind of what I wanted to focus on. It did end up just being CO2 levels and pH. We do have the sample size of 8 and 6, the mean, which is 450 and 8.05, the standard deviation of 244 and 94, and 0.1870, the minimum of 100 and 7.8, the Q1 250, 7.9, the median 450, 8.05, the Q3 of 650 and 8.2, and the maximum of 800 and 8.3, excuse me. And then over here would be where I did my histograms and where I put all the data. Like I said, it was hard just because there was so much data, so I kind of had to narrow it down and put my own columns of like combine some of the years and stuff, just because some of my data was missing certain years, which made it hard to work with. But we do have both the CO2, as you can see on the top histogram, and the pH on the bottom histogram. My Excel was not working correctly in some of these, so the data points look a little weird, but overall you can kind of see the variation. They should be closer together, but again, some years were missing. And then the confidence and intervals. Basically, what I did was look at what we learned throughout this course, and I realized that there is a 95% chance that the CO2 level is higher than 400, which was just like my research question, meaning like what is it going to be higher or lower than 400, which does make sense if you look at the graph for Chico Rocks. The CO2 levels are high throughout several years. They kind of decline a little bit here and there, but they mainly stay high. And then last would be my hypothesis testing conclusion. There is the null would be there is no CO2 difference in Chico Rocks. The alternative, yes, there is a difference in CO2 levels. There's more. Those are just the hypothesis using symbols. And then the significance level, like I said, was 95% in my significance level. And then my test statistics, when I did it all out, I did the standard deviation, divided all of that. It was 0.69. If I round up, it is 0.7. And then my p-value is greater than or less than the 69.57. And basically, when you said to determine whether we reject it or not, based on the calculations, we definitely would reject the null hypothesis based on the p-value because it is less than the significance level of 95. It is only 69 or 70%. But overall, that is what I found with my hypothesis, that I was actually wrong. It wasn't going to be higher, even though it looked higher in some of the data.